Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into this really cool but super important idea that explains why some of the biggest websites and apps stay rock solid while others just crumble under pressure. We're talking about the science of going from just being busy to being truly brilliant. So let's be real, we've all been there. You're trying to buy those concert tickets the second they drop, or you're checking a news site during a massive event, and the app you're counting on just stops. It freezes. But what's crazy is that behind the curtain, the servers are going full tilt, running at 100%. And yet for you, the user, absolutely nothing is happening. How is that even possible? Well, the whole mystery really comes down to this one metric that for the longest time, everyone thought was the gold standard for performance. But as it turns out, it can be incredibly misleading. It's called throughput. To get what throughput is, just picture a restaurant kitchen during the dinner rush. Throughput is basically counting the total number of orders the kitchen starts working on. It doesn't care if the steak gets burned or if the customer got fed up and left 20 minutes ago. As long as the kitchen looks incredibly busy, the throughput numbers look fantastic. And this is exactly where this newer, smarter idea of Goodput comes into play. You see, throughput counts everything, all the wasted effort, the retries, the work for users who aren't even there anymore. But Goodput? Nope. Goodput only counts the successful orders that actually made it to a happy customer. It measures what actually mattered. So what happens when you build a system that's laser-focused on just maximizing that raw throughput number? Well, it can actually work itself into this bizarre state of, productive failure. A system meltdown where it's incredibly busy doing, well, absolutely nothing useful at all. This is what that terrifying death spiral looks like in action. First, a huge traffic spike makes the line of requests get longer and longer. Your app on your phone gets tired of waiting and it times out. But here's the kicker. It automatically hits retry, which just adds even more work to the pile. Meanwhile, way back on the server, it has no idea you've already given up. It finally gets to your original request and wastes all this precious energy processing it for a user who's long gone. And boom. The system is now at 100% capacity, doing 100% useless work. There's a great quote from engineer Mark Brucker that just nails it. He says, "The system achieves a paradoxical state. It is highly stable, operating at maximum CPU utilization, and yet entirely useless to the business." That's what engineers call a metastable failure. It's stable, but useless. Okay, so if blindly chasing throughput is the villain of our story, what's the solution? Well, it's a huge shift in mindset. It's about stopping measuring busyness and starting to measure what actually gets the job done for the user. And the real key here is measuring Goodput against a very specific promise. That promise is called a service level objective, or an SLO. You can think of an SLO as a contract with your users. It's a hard mathematical target for how a service must perform, how fast, how available, how reliable. Goodput, then, is simply the measure of how well the system is keeping that promise. And just to give you an idea of how tight these SLOs are, a 3 nines availability target, that's 99.9%, is pretty common for major online services. You know what that means in the real world? It means the service is only allowed to be down or performing poorly for about 43 minutes per month. That is the incredibly small window engineers have to play with. So how do they manage that? They think in terms of an error budget. That 43 minutes of downtime, that's their budget for the month. But they don't just wait until the end of the month to see how they did. No way. They watch the burn rate in real time. If they start burning through that budget too fast, automated defenses just kick in. The system might start shutting down non-essential traffic or send out alerts, all to protect the user experience before that whole month's budget is gone in a flash. This kind of proactive defense relies on a really powerful set of tools that are designed not just to handle a lot of traffic, but to protect Goodput no matter what. Let's check out a few of the big ones. Okay, first and foremost, the most important strategy is to just stop wasting time on requests that are already doomed. So instead of a simple timeout, which can be kind of vague, modern systems use an absolute deadline. Think of it like this. When a request comes in, it gets stamped with an exact time it must be done by. That deadline gets passed along to every single part of the system involved. And if it becomes clear that the deadline can't be met, the whole operation is just canceled, freeing up resources for requests that can still succeed. Next up, a smart system knows that not all traffic is created equal. It does triage, kind of like an ER doctor, a health check to see if the system is alive. That's critical, highest priority.
A request coming from you, an actual person trying to do something, that's high priority. But a background task from a search engine crawler indexing the site, yeah, that can wait. This is how you make sure the most important stuff is always protected.
And finally, these systems have to adapt on the fly. You know, the old way of doing things was to just set a fixed limit, like a bouncer at a club who only lets in 1,000 people per second, period. It's rigid and not very efficient. The new way is adaptive. It's constantly measuring how fast things are moving, and like a smart traffic light system, it dynamically adjusts how many requests it lets in, always pushing to get the most Goodput possible without causing a total gridlock.
Now, this isn't just some academic theory. The biggest tech companies on the planet have literally built their empires on these exact principles. Let's look at how a few of them do it.
So you have Netflix, which uses an algorithm that watches for tiny changes in network latencies to automatically tune how much traffic it allows. Then there's Meta, whose system is really collaborative, with different parts of the system basically telling each other how busy they are. And Uber uses a super sophisticated controller that sorts all its traffic into different priority tiers.
Meta's system is seriously clever. Every single time a service sends a response back, it piggybacks a little note on it that says, hey, just so you know, here's how busy I am right now. This lets all the other services know ahead of time whether a new request is even likely to succeed. It's kind of like checking the traffic map on your phone before you even get in the car. And Uber's system, which they call Cinnamon, is all about fiercely protecting their core business. It sorts every single request into a priority tier. The second things start to get busy, it just starts dropping the lowest priority stuff, like updating a driver's profile picture, to make absolutely sure that your ride request, the lifeblood of their business, always gets through. And as we look ahead, this whole focus on Goodput isn't just important, it's becoming even more critical, especially as we dive headfirst into the age of AI.
Think about it. For a large language model, a successful request isn't a simple yes or no answer. It's a stream of words, or tokens. So in that world, Goodput means generating those tokens fast enough that the conversation actually feels natural. A slow, stuttering AI is a useless AI, right? It doesn't matter how much throughput its servers are pushing if the experience is terrible. So the next time an app feels slow or a website crashes, you'll know exactly what's going on under the hood. And it's a great question to ask, not just about software, but about any system we rely on. Is it just busy, creating a lot of motion, or is it actually effective? Is it optimized for throughputs, or is it optimized for Goodputs? Thanks for tuning in.